Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight I'm a little bit late because I recorded last night the patch notes and balance report, and then after 30 minutes of talking to myself I realized that when I went to edit the video there were no audio. So I did the right thing by just saying I'm going to bed. That was me censoring myself, by the way. I don't know if you guys caught that or not, but yeah. So anyway, we're back. It is currently 6 a.m., so let's go ahead and get this party started. The April update, the stars align, and y'all got debated. We'll go over that in a minute. Maintenance times for Xbox and PlayStation will be March 25th, 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. Central Time, 7 to 10 a.m. UTC. Update size will be for the Xbox One S and X, 4.3 gigabytes. For Xbox Series S and X, 4.4 gigabytes. For the PS4, 4.25 gigabytes. For the PS5, 1.04 gigabytes. For the Apple folks, a 1 gigabyte download with a 1.56 in-game update. And then Android, 100 megabyte download with a 1.56 gigabyte in-game. Moving on. April update. The stars align. Captains, prepare yourself for this April. To stock up on supplies for the coming battle, please use the code 5B10 B6JI8B. Sorry, I had to make sure that was actually a 0. Looks like a 0. At wowslegends.com/code-redeemer to get 5 Imperial Japanese Navy consumable camouflages and 2 rare boosters of each type, 10 in total. Here's a quick list of the features of this update for those of you who don't want to stick around and listen to me talk for the next half an hour. The Severus Salet campaign featuring Pan-European Tier 8 destroyer, Tier 8 battleship, Karl the 14th, Johann. I'm going to say it's Johann. Could be wrong. Somebody's going to yell at me. All new Planet Crash event for April Fools. Early access to new branch of Japanese light cruisers. The Night Warrior calendar with a new Japanese cruiser commander. 5 years strong, we celebrate 5 years since the beta launch of World of Warships Legends. The Loyalty Rewards program returns, 2 ranked seasons, and balance changes. The Sveriges Salet campaign. The Swedish show-off battleship Karl the 14th, Johann, as a final reward of the 5-week 100 milestone campaign. This hypothetical battleship is Swedish-inspired rebuild of a Great War, aka World War I, German battlecruiser design, joining the pan-European nation in World of Warships Legends. She's armed with 12-inch, 305mm guns, with a fast reload and a pair of quadruple torpedo tube launchers per side. Like last update, you can complete this campaign's missions in the Versus AI mode as well as standard battles. Let's see what rewards are in store for you. Without Admiralty backing, you can get all of this, totaling 11,667 doubloons. With Admiralty backing, you get all of that, plus you get all of this, including the new Tier 8 premium battleship Karl the 14th for 75,570 doubloons worth of in-game things. Planet Crash. Prepare for battle against the might of the All-Destroyer in this new April Fool's Day operation. Your team will fight through a swarm of the All-Destroyer's minions to take her on and defeat her before she can escape. It's a race against the clock, so prepare yourselves for the battle ahead. You will take command of specially designed spaceships and their commanders, with shields and special abilities to use against the All-Destroyer. The event, new space-themed ships, skins, commander guises, and rewards aplenty. Plus, the spaceport returns for consoles. Japanese light cruisers enter early access. We are pleased to introduce a new tech tree line. I apologize, guys. I don't mean to keep yawning. For Japan, featuring light cruisers of Tier 4 and upward. This update, the first 4 will be available in early access. The Agano, the Gokase, I think it's Gokase, the Omono, and the Shimanto. These cruisers carry heavy torpedo armament with turning torpedoes starting from Omono that allow them to launch at aggressive angles. An abundance of main battery guns and solid concealment provide plenty of utility to these torpedo-slinging warships. There's also a slick series of fleet review skins for the ships available. For the anniversary of Yamato's final mission, a short series of missions will feature this legendary battleship from April 4th through April 11th. Completing them will earn you some rewards, including a few Japanese cruisers crates. Tier 8 cruiser Takahashi will become available for research next update when the line goes live. The Night Warrior Calendar. To complement the new set of light cruisers, a new historical commander is available. The Japanese tech tree Matsuji Ijin, I think. Ijin. You guys will have to let me know. I apologize. His abilities are geared around improving the torpedo performance of your Japanese cruisers, featuring a new skill and unique base trait. A base trait is Speed is My Weapon. Increases torpedo speed by up to 1.5 knots and increases ship maximum movement speed by up to 2%. Sorry. Legendary skill Killing Distance. Reduce torpedo detectability by up to 200 meters. Increases torpedo range by up to 6% and increases cruiser torpedo damage by up to 20% depending on the distance traveled. This is essentially a like Azurlay, New Jersey sort of situation where in that case you shoot beyond 10 kilometers and you get more damage. This case, the further the torpedoes go, the more of a bonus you get to the damage. So at maximum range, if you land a torpedo, it's going to do 20% more damage, which is kind of absurd when you think about the fact that these torpedoes are already doing, usually, I mean, at the higher tiers, you're talking 20 to 23,000 damage. So you're adding another 20% of damage on top of that, which is a bit absurd. On your way to unlocking this commander, you can earn plenty of rewards and some Japanese cruiser crates. The calendar replaces daily missions for the first 3 weeks, but fear not, Doubloon Week is still on the schedule for the second week of the calendar. 5 years strong and loyalty rewards return. World of Warships Legends is 5 years strong this update, and many of you have been sailing the high seas this whole time, myself included. We've prepared a series of gifts for you in honor of the anniversary, including an exclusive Tier 5 premium ship for 5-year players. Commonwealth Cruiser Mysore, I think would be how it's be pronounced, right? Is it Mysore or Mysore? I guess we could call it Mysore. But when you log in during the new update, you can pick up a free bundle in the store to get your rewards and a small mission for even more rewards. There are various tiers of rewards depending on how long you've played the game, determined by when you first logged into the game. Even if you join the game today, there's something for you. So be sure to log in during the April update to claim your loyalty rewards. There will be a supporting article with more detailed information on the blog. Ranked Seasons 52 and 53. Ranked Seasons return with the final 2 weeks of this update. Starting Tuesday, April 16th, and Season 52 features Tier 5 ships, and Season 53 features Tier 6 ships. Divisions of 3 players can fight together in 5 versus 5 battles with a limit of 1 destroyer per team and no aircraft carriers. Plentiful rewards are in store for competitors, including up to 2,400 steel for completing both seasons. And now the steel ship Dyson. Everybody was saying that this was going to be the new campaign ship, but you're wrong. It's actually not. And oh my God, can we all agree that this port sucks for content creators? All right, I'm pretty sure that Mr. Sailing Robin is the content creator for Wargaming right now. You can agree with me, right, Sailing Robin? Right? This is awful. This is the worst picture you could probably post. Like, it's terrible. I love the background. I love the background, but it's too pink. It just washes out everything and just makes everything look terrible. including the ship. So we'll have to see it once we can get it into regular lighting. But yeah, this picture looks awful because of the lighting. Anyway, the Forge gains a new ship this update. Japanese Tier 8 battleship Dyson. The large battlecruiser enjoys 8 accurate and high-velocity guns, great torpedoes, and uniquely improved consumables. Her engine boost provides a short-duration burst of speed that can send her up above 40 knots, which is kind of crazy. And her enhanced secondary targeting is the best in the game. That'll be an interesting one to figure out. She does have quite a few casemates here, so I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if this actually is a secondary capable ship or if that's just a joke. She appears in the Forge for 25,000 steel. Very expensive. Steel takes forever to get. Fortunately, you can earn up to 2,400 steel with the ranked battles this month. Yay! Mobile global release. This update marks the global release of World of Warships Legends on mobile for Apple and Android devices on March 27th. You can now access the game anywhere on the go, sailing the seas, sinking your opponents, completing bureau tasks, daily missions, and more from your phone or tablet. Plus, more improvements are arriving this update. Full commander support with legendary skills, guises, and voiceovers, calendar support, store coupons, improvement to touch controls, improved recognition of when the finger leaves the screen outside the button area, performance improvements for lower-end devices. Balance changes. This update brings another edition of the Ministry of Balance, bringing improvements to many ships. Buffs to the selected Italian destroyers and French large cruisers. Buffs to the Resistance and the Leonid. Buffs to the Hawk and the Saint-Louis. Nerfs to the Alaska and Stalingrad, because, you know, every single time they buff the Alaska and Stalingrad, they have to immediately roll back the buff that they did because they become even more strong. It's almost like they probably didn't need buff to begin with. If you have to nerf a ship every single time you buff it, maybe don't buff it. Just a thought. Just a thought. Maybe there should be more thought going into buffing these ships. Because God knows the Alaska and Stalingrad are incredibly strong ships that do not need buffs. And I still say that the Stalingrad needs the HE stripped off of it again because that was the only thing that was unique about the ship. And now it's just another HE slinging freaking cruiser. Because that's all anybody ever uses it for anymore. Stupid. Small economy changes to some Tier 8 ships. Yeah, sorry guys. Plus, there are changes coming to the spawn points on many maps to help improve or even out the experience of the beginning of the battle. This is a huge one. For more details on these changes, be sure to read the Ministry of Balance article published alongside the patch notes here. We'll go ahead and open that up. Improvements to fleets. April showers bring 2 new fleet features. I almost had a seizure. First, your fleet call signs will now be visible next to your name in the leaderboards. This is possibly going to be a bad thing for anybody in my fleet. So I'm going to apologize ahead of time to anybody who has the SE43 fleet tag next to their name. Because I can almost guarantee there are going to be people that target you because you've got that SE43 tag. So I'm not going to be surprised when people decide to start going, hey, Spartan, appreciate you, but I'm out. This sucks. Anyway. In-game battle log, in-game player lists, and the post-battle results screen. So they're just adding your fleet tag to your name across the board. This is a big upgrade for recognizing fellow fleet members or notable fleets in the community while in-game. We hope you like it. That's not all. We're making it easier to find fleets and potential recruits in-game by adding a Looking for Fleet feature similar to the Looking for Division players who aren't a part of a fleet. Try that again. Similar to Looking for Division in sentence. Players who aren't part of a fleet can mark themselves as looking for a fleet, and fleet leaders can view a list of these players to invite them directly to their fleet. We know many of you are eagerly awaiting the return of fleet battles as well, but we ask that you remain patient as we continue working on improvements to the game mode for its next iteration. One thing that I'm hoping, which I already know the answer to most likely, is no, but I'm hoping that in this situation, it also shows win rates, games played, that sort of thing, so that we can like filter between the people that are in this looking for fleets, right? Like right now, the way you add people into a fleet, you pretty much have to add them, wait a couple of days for the game to refresh their stats in your fleet, and then decide whether or not you want to keep them. It's obnoxious. Anyway, bug fixes and miscellaneous. Mobile bug fixes fix the duplication of the back button when demounting upgrades in some situations, fix the commander names being cut off on the commander screen, and fixed minimap covering epic and legendary modification buff icons. Prepare for the spring surge and turn the tide. All right, now let's move on. Make sure it's on the right thing. I think it is. Beautiful. I'm not going to go over all the changes. I'm just going to kind of like scroll through it real quick. If you guys need to at any point, you can pause the video and go over more of it. But ship changes. Resistance is trying to find her spot in Tier 6, but she needs some help getting there. This update improves her AP shells and survivability. Main battery AP shell damage increased from 11,350 to 12,000, and the ship HP increased from 55,200 to 59,000. You can go over each section of the ship that gets a little bit of a buff to their HP. Hawk. Due to Hawk's increased Citadel vulnerability and longer reload than most other battleships, she currently feels uncomfortable to play and underperforms. To combat this, we're improving her reload substantially this update. Stock main battery gun reload reduced from 34 to 31 seconds, and upgraded main battery reload reduced from 31 to 28 seconds, which is significant. And honestly, I enjoyed the Hawk. I enjoy the Duncan. They are squishy, but you got to learn to angle them and know what their vulnerabilities are and how to stop that. But yes, giving me a buff to my British battle cruisers, yeah, let's go. I don't mind. Saint Louis is designed around being one of the ultimate glass cannon ships, focused purely on damage potential. However, she often still struggles to compete, so we're improving her survivability and reload. Stock main battery reload time reduced from 10 to 9 seconds. Upgraded main battery reload time from 8.5 to 7.5 seconds. Stock hull total health increased from 38,800 to 40,000. Again, not going to go over all the different sections of the ship. You guys can read that. Upgraded hull total health goes from 40,900 to 44,000. So pretty significant buff to HP there. But it's really like only one more shell. Alaska has sometimes, wait, just hold the phone. Alaska has always proved to be extremely durable before and after her recent buff. So we're making her less difficult to damage throughout the match by negating the effects of saturation. I don't understand why they have to keep buffing and nerfing the Alaska and Stalingrad. These two ships are fantastic. There is nothing wrong with them. The Stalingrad has a giant weakness. If you get caught broadside, you die. Big deal. Alaska doesn't even have that weakness. Alaska has all the good things about the Stalingrad, except for it's a shorter range radar, right? It's not 12 kilometers, but it lasts twice as long, right? But it has ridiculous penetration angles on its main guns. It has ridiculous armor. I mean, it's 32 millimeters everywhere. Like, what's wrong with the Alaska? Nothing. Stop buffing it. I'm sorry. I can't get on board with these buffs, especially because every time they buff it, they're like, oh, this was a mistake. You think? You think? Do you guys actually play the Alaska and the Stalingrad? You guys have to let me know down in the comments below. I can't be the only one. Like, I am a battleship player. I ain't a cruiser player. I'm a battleship player. I make people look silly with the Alaska. Stalingrad, I'm a little bit iffy on. I love the Stalingrad, but it's just so squishy and it gets caught in a turn every time and gets me sent back to the port. But that's my fault. But the Stalingrad's still a fantastic ship, shooting absolute railguns across the map, capable of citadeling battleships at ridiculous range. Like, silly that this thing needs buffed. And then it didn't need HE. I hate the fact that they gave it HE. I'm sorry. I just can't stand it. But the way they're doing it is they're actually nerfing the Alaska's main battery reload time. So that's actually a significant nerf to the Alaska, going from 18 to 20 seconds. It's a 2-second nerf, but it's going to hurt. And then the HP increase for the bow, stern, casemate, and superstructure, increasing the damage the ship takes before saturation, which is essentially just rolling back the previous buff to the ship, and then some. Stalingrad, essentially the same thing. They're just adding some more HP to the bow, stern, casemate, and superstructure. And again, she did not need HE, but I'll leave it there. The Sherberg. The primary pain point anyone playing the French large cruisers will notice is the lengthy reload time. No kidding. So we're slightly improving the Cherbourg's rate of fire to address this. She's only slightly behind most other Tier 7 cruisers, so the change is small. 29 to 28 seconds. Yeah, you're not going to notice that, really. Brest at Tier 8, the playstyle of the French large cruisers becomes even more difficult to achieve. So Brest gains a bigger change to her reload. It's twice as good. It goes from 28 to 26. Woo! Still, not going to really notice. Leonie. Leonie is one of those ships that I actually sold recently because of a spin to wheel episode. But, yeah. Leonie is one of the destroyers with the greatest potential as a hull. 8 guns on a Tier 5 destroyer is notable. However, the ship lacks greatly in rate of fire compared to her peers as compensation for the number of guns, which detracts from the ship's unique traits. To address this, she sees a substantial improvement to rate of fire, going from 9.5 seconds to 8 seconds. Substantial improvement to rate of fire. It's half a second. Half a second. Substantial though. Look out. It's gonna make the Leonie an absolute monster. But at least they won't have to turn around next update and nerf it again. Right? Cyclone. Our 4-year loyalty return Cyclone is lacking in several areas at Tier 4. We're giving her a couple necessary improvements to spice her up for her return this year. Main battery reload time decreased from 10 to 6.5 seconds. Torpedo speed increased from 57 to 65 knots. Repair party moved from slot 2 to slot 4, making this an additional consumable for the ship. That's actually kind of crazy. And then overview traits from added the slow trait. Agile trait was changed to heal consumable. So again, traits don't really matter. It's just kind of an idea of what the ship is unique. Here's a big one for me though. I've always said, and a lot of people gave me flack for this. A lot of people say, oh, you're just bad at the game. But I always said that Tier 6 and up, the Italian tech tree destroyers are essentially useless. They are painful to play. And so guess what? Wargaming agrees. And Tier 6 and up Italian tech tree destroyers are getting a buff. Not even a little buff. It's actually a decent buff. It may not seem like it, but when you're dealing with such low reloads, any buff to the reload, especially a practically full second buff to the reload, is kind of crazy. So the Luca Torigo, main battery reload time reduced from 6.5 to 5.5 seconds. The Vittorio Cuniberti goes from a 6-second to a 5.5 second reload. And then the Adriatico is reduced from 5.7 seconds to 4.5 seconds. That's a pretty significant buff. But again, my biggest issue isn't so much that the reload times or anything like that. Yeah, there's a little bit slow reload considering it's a gunboat. But the biggest issue that I have is that they changed it for the destroyers. They changed the SAP from replacing your HE to replacing your AP. So what happens is, in the spirit of a battle, yes, you can absolutely go out and murder destroyers, right? But as soon as a cruiser decides to YOLO rush you, you have no defense. You can't kill them with torpedoes, right? You just can't. The torpedoes, even if you land the torps, are terrible. But you have no defense, and they will literally go full broadside in front of you because they know you can do nothing about it. At worst, they're going to take some SAP shells. And it's small caliber SAP that does basically nothing against cruisers or battleships. So I think if they really want to buff these Tier 6 and up, I think they need to swap the SAP taking over for the HE and the bringing the AP back for these ships. Because without it, you're just too vulnerable. And you have no defense against ships like light cruisers that decide that they want you gone. Because they will literally just YOLO you like crazy people. Economy changes. We're making some small credit economy changes for a few Tier 8 ships to make them earn credits and XP at similar rates. The Maine is increased by 11%. The Ismo, the Temeraire, the Frederick de Grossa, all increased by 11%. And then the Dmitry Donskoy is increased by 5.5%. Credit earning reductions for the Brest, Petro, Brindisi, and Sejong all reduced by 5%. Map changes. Now this is something we've all been looking for a long time, so I'm glad to see some of this is happening. But spawns have been adjusted on Trap, Haven at low tiers and high tiers, Shatter, Estuary, Riposte, Strait, and Tears of the Desert. And even on Tears of the Desert, they have completely removed the Epicenter game mode. Thank God. Because nobody enjoys Tears of the Desert with Epicenter. Okay, it's just not a good game mode for that map. So there you have it, folks. I'm looking forward. There's a lot of stuff with this update. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I know I'm a little bit late on posting these, but I wanted to make sure that I slept on it a little bit because I was a little frustrated after I realized that I spent 30 minutes recording this and then ended up forgetting to have my audio included. So let me know down in the comments below what you're most excited about, what you're upset about, and if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.